Hi everyone, welcome to my talk show. And the person whom we will be interviewing today is a special person and who doesn't need any introduction. He's an international speaker, digital marketing entrepreneur, and the CEO of high ticket eCom secrets. Yes, he's the guru in the internet marketing space. So let's put your hand together to welcome Earnest Epps. Hi Ernest.
Hey, what's up, man?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Hey, it's another day of greatness, my friend.
Yeah, tough man, and I'm really glad that you took your busy schedule to have a time spent with me and other people from India actually, and we are really honored to have you on our show. So welcome again.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you guys having me on, man. I know quite a few folks that's out in that part of the world that's excited to learn about this whole internet marketing e-com
Yeah.
content. So
Yeah, definitely. Today we will love to know directly from you. Like, we know that you have 10 years of marketing and sales experience, and you've been, man, just really been awesome. Like, I've been following you, been long on the internet space because I personally learned a lot from you on the e-com side. So, today we would like to know more about you and the items which you do. And recently, you've been to the Affiliate World Conference in Asia, which happened in Bangkok. So we definitely want to know more about you from you. So the stage is yours. Go ahead. Yeah.
yeah, no. So just for because I never want to take for granted that everyone kind of knows who I am. Like I know you mentioned I don't need an introduction, but I don't think I'm that big time yet. I'm getting there though. But
Sure.
for me, I got started in e-commerce. Like, I always tell people, the real story, started back in 2009. Because if you kind of look me up, I started doing some due diligence on myself. Like, you'll see that I decided to take it serious in 2015. But in 2009 is when I kind of got introduced to the concept of kind of making money on the internet. And when I got pretty much kind of involved with kind of getting educated, I did what most people do when they kind of get started in a entrepreneurial venture, when they're working in, their full-time jobs or corporate, like I was a marketing director full-time. And so I kind of got started as like a side hustle, side business, didn't really kind of take it serious really. And with that being said, I really didn't make any type of money, with any type of online businesses that I had done, pretty much from 2009 to 2015, right? So, I kind of did what like a lot of people do. Like I got started, built a website. Thought people would just find me just on the internet because I'm on the internet, right?
Yeah.
I write a blog post and I'm just like, oh man, Google's going to start sending me extra AdSense. Like this is going to be awesome.
Yeah. Yes.
And
Yes.
the biggest thing is like I treat the business like a hobby, so it paid me like a hobby. And when I decided to treat the business like a business, it started to pay me like a business. So in 2015, the only difference when I decided to really get involved was that I looked at the past reasons why I wasn't successful. Honestly, like I really like did a self analysis of like why didn't that other stuff work? Because when I got reintroduced to the concept of e-commerce, the first thing I told myself was like, oh man, it's a scam. Nobody makes money on the internet. Like,
Yeah.
I tried it, right?
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not listening to any of these gurus. Like, nobody knows what they're talking about. The only people that make money are the people that, sit in the background and sprinkle fairy dust on their keyboards, and that's how they
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
how they do it. So, but then I started to really, after I started doing some due diligence, right? Because I went to YouTube University and I started getting educated, right? And I was just like, well, Ernest, like, what was the reason why you weren't successful, over those years of, trying to build a business outside of your full time job? And I looked at it and I was just like, I kind of took personal responsibility and said, you know what? It just I didn't put forth the real time, energy, and effort to make it happen, right? And so when I reapproached things back in 2015, I remember the day like it was yesterday. Like I mean, I could literally be sitting here at this very moment and remember exactly the state of mind I was in. I was just like, it was September 2nd, 2015, and I said, you know what? This time when you go to start this business, why don't you give the business the same amount of time, energy, and effort like you do your job? right?
Exactly.
Because I did pretty well in corporate, like, and I think most people, like, from a corporate standpoint, like, you do pretty well, right? Or you do enough just to keep your job,
Yeah.
right? You're like one of the two, like, you're either succeeding very well or you're doing enough to keep your job. But even just the people that are just doing enough to keep your job, like, if you don't show up, if you don't open up your laptop, if you're not, working and completing the tasks on a daily basis that are assigned to you from your supervisor or your employer, you'll end up getting fired, right? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
like, because since I'm already doing that for someone else, like, I already understand the principles of if I don't show up, I don't get paid there. Why
Yeah.
don't I take the same thought process and mindset and apply it towards my business? And so when I gave myself that promise, I said, you know what, 30 days, just go all in and just see what happens for 30 days, right? And it actually didn't even take me 30 days. It only took me 22 days. I mean,
Oh.
from scratch. I mean, not having built a website or use Shopify, never selling any type of physical products or anything like that, on sale, drop shipping. I mean, so from straight up scratch, 22 days, just was relentless in the process. And I was able to get my first sale for $340
Oh.
in less than 48 hours when the website went live.
Oh.
So
That's really awesome.
yeah, it's pretty cool how that kind of happened. It was just like, but it was me being consistent and persistent in the process of, like, going from
Yeah.
one thing to the next to the next. It's
Exactly.
just like, first thing is you got to pick a niche, you got to pick products to sell. Next, you got to build a website, and then after that, you got to contact and connect with suppliers. Then you
Yeah.
got to upload the products to your website. Then now it's time to turn on traffic and get paid, right?
Yes.
So.
Yes.
Um, I went through that series of the progression, and ultimately that's what got me in a position to even reap the benefits of it, and then from there just kind of focus on how I can drive more traffic, how I can get more people to convert more often, so forth and so on. So at the time in 2015, I had actually did well enough in my first few months of actually getting started. I was able to, like, replace my full time income and walk away from my corporate gig I had at the time. And now me and my fiance are both stay at home parents with 4 boys, and just travel the globe and have fun.
That's really awesome, and to know more in detail about you. So, Ernest, like as you said that you've been through a lot of channels and you built your own online venture. So, if someone wants to, like, there are the audience who will be listening definitely wants because they have some kind of fear. Because I myself dropped my full-time career of 6 years. I was into my software development. I took a plunge and came into this internet marketing world. So it was really fascinating for someone to earn money online. As you said that there are a lot many scams and people fall in trap of getting quick rich. So what is your view on this, and what would like to advise to the audience who wants to actually come into this world as a new, or if they are into a profession and they can start as a parallel for this particular venture? So any advice you would like to give?
Wow, that was a lot there. Like, we could probably talk for like next 2 hours with just
Yeah,
those couple different
but
topics, right?
but we have time constraint, so definitely some quick tips would definitely.
Absolutely. So the first thing is, I know you talked about, like, the fear, right? The fear of getting started. First and foremost, when you look at, like, fear, there's a really cool acronym that I totally agree with, where it says false evidence appearing real.
Yes.
So if you look at stuff that you say, like, you're afraid of, especially when it comes to, like a business perspective, like, you got to look at the opposite of that. Like, what's the worst thing that could really happen, right?
Yeah.
The worst thing is, like, you could lose a little money. You could just make a mistake, maybe take a little bit longer than what you should. But I mean, it's not as dramatic as people that's in, like, the military or going to war. Like, you're not gonna die, right? If you start an ecom business and you don't, like, get started as quick as you want, like, there's no, you're not going to harm. There's no harm that's going to come your way. Okay. So I kind of say that just to say, like, just think about, like, there's so much upside to the e-commerce arena. So here's what Ernest looked at, right? So I heard a quote by Warren Buffett where he said, if you don't learn how to make money while you sleep, you're going to work until you die,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
And so I looked at the different business vehicles in which, like, you can make money while you sleep, right? Like, true, like, passive or semi-passive income, right? And so I looked at, like, the stock market, real estate, investing, franchising, and, like, internet-based, like, e-commerce, right? And so out of like, stock market, real estate investing, franchising, like a lot of those, like you got to have a lot of money to actually see a lot of upside, right? Like a 10% return, which is like high, right? Is like, if you only got a little bit, like 10% return on $100 is only $10,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So I didn't have like the $100,000 to put in, because actually prior to me getting started in ecom, I had actually gotten laid off, and I went through like a state of depression for like 2 years. And so like, I was actually like, getting ready to file bankruptcy. I mean, it was terrible. So like, I knew that couldn't work and some of the other things like I just mentioned too. But then when I looked at e-commerce and like internet marketing, even to this day, it's just like the overhead and the amount of like investment that it takes, even when you're buying courses and programs, is like nowhere near like the level of like how much like money you have to put into like a traditional business. So I'm like, even if I have to spend, $2,000 or $3,000 buying a couple different courses to get educated, and then, the couple, $100 that it takes to get started, like the comparison to the traditional side of things is just like astronomical. So I'm just like, get educated, look at the different tools and something I need to get started in. It's just not that much. And the upside is astronomical. I literally, guys, like, this is no joke. I literally took a $12.50 ecom store that I started. It cost me $12.50 to start.
Okay.
And that store is doing over $1 million a year now.
Wow.
Like, with $12.50 was the initial investment, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, that's the type of stuff that you can do, like with an e-commerce business. Like, literally start for less than $100 and, turn that into like, a business that's just like absolutely like firing on all cylinders. So I would say look at more of the upside and not necessarily like the things that can go wrong or the fear or anything of that nature. Because no matter, I don't care like what you're doing. Like, even if you want to work as like a cashier at like at a gas station or something, like you could you could have the fear of like somebody coming in and robbing the gas station, right? But the percentage of that is like very low, right? So like there can be fear involved in any type of job, like, or business. It's just, you got to remember like what it is that you want to do and why it is that you want to do it. And hold on to that as you start to go through the process, because it's not going to be easy and it's not going to happen overnight. But if you stay consistent and persistent in this process, I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, with every single fiber of my being, that you'll be able to create success for yourself.
Definitely, that's a great piece of advice. And Ernest, as you mentioned, like definitely if somebody wants to grow into the internet business, but the one thing which I personally feel that internet is bombarded with a hell lot of courses. So how can someone get into know, like suppose somebody wants to go into the ecom, if somebody wants to learn ecom, so what items they need to keep in mind while exploring the different courses to enroll with? So how would someone tackle that particular stuff? So what things one need to keep in mind before enrolling anything?
Yeah, so in terms of like getting educated from an ecom perspective, so number one, I'd say start with me, right? So I got a free Facebook group, which is eCom Dropshipping for Entrepreneurs, right? Where, that's where I'm heavily involved. But aside from me, because I always tell everybody, like, it would be great if like you enrolled in like my coaching program or my courses or whatever the case is. But honestly, at the end of the day, I care more about you just winning in general. And if I'm not that person, like, it's totally fine, right? And so when you're in the process of like vetting other individuals, one of the things I like to look at is, not necessarily just, what's the hype or like, how much they're winning and succeeding, but like how many other testimonials and success stories that they have for other individuals, right? And how recent are they? Like, how relevant are they to like the individual? So like, and be careful, like, don't like try to rush it. Like, don't make an emotional decision. Cause I can tell you, there's like one individual I know of that's in the internet market space, and he's promoting a high ticket ecom course, right? Now, again, he says he sells high ticket products. That's what all of his students are doing in his particular program. But if you actually do the math on his average order value is like $27.
Is it?
So clearly that's someone that's selling snake oil. Right?
Yeah.
Don't follow that individual. So like, listen to what the person says, but then also do your due diligence on that individual. I mean, like, obviously you're learning about their personal line. So like, Google's your best friend, YouTube, like really check out that person, see if you can even reach out to them directly. Like, I might not be the most responsive person in terms of like trying to send me a message in my inbox, but like if you tag me in like my Facebook group, I'm totally responsive. I can give you feedback on other individuals. Like, and again, I'm not the type of person to be like, oh, don't go buy so and so's course because I don't like them. Even if I might not necessarily know the person or even like them, like if they got some good content, they got good content that could help you, right? And at the end of the day, I know if I just continue to serve people, like great things are just going to happen on the back end of that no matter what. So, that's just kind of my 2 cents a little bit.
Yes, exactly. As you mentioned, like, yes, people got confused with lot many items. So you've been so awesome. Like, I've been in your touch from last few months, and I would like to say everyone who is watching this video is like, Ernest is really so responsive. Like, if you message him, so he definitely would reply. So thanks again for Ernest for the same. And yeah, I would like to know another thing which was coming into mind is about the drop shipping, because drop shipping is something, a concept which is not much familiar in India, and there are a lot of confusion. Even I myself was not much aware of the drop shipping. If you can just uh, talk around on this topic, on your experience and your programs which is in line to the drop shipping, so that would definitely help to the audience who is now listening.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, the cool thing about the whole thing of drop shipping. So if you're listening to this, you have no idea what the heck drop shipping is. What it is, it's a number one, it's actually a fulfillment method. Okay, it's
Okay.
not an actual like noun. So like a lot of people like I had someone message me earlier today. They're like, "Are you a drop shipper?" I'm like, "No, I'm not a drop shipper. I own online retail sites, and we set up drop ship agreements, right? Because
Okay.
if you look at like, the actual definition of drop shipping, all drop shipping is a fulfillment method,
Okay.
meaning that it's how orders get fulfilled and processed. Whether it's via like the manufacturer, the wholesaler, or a supplier. Okay.
Okay.
And so in terms of like you as an actual like person, like if you say, hey, I want to sell physical products online, but I don't want to have any inventory overhead, anything of that nature, you can actually again do drop shipping, right? And
Yeah.
so in terms of that, you're able to, find source and source products and things of that nature that you can list on your website with suppliers. And then once you get orders for those, you can just transfer those over to the supplier and then they'll ship them directly to the customer. Now, in particular with me, one of the things I highly recommend is that, as amazing as, AliExpress and Alibaba and a lot of those different resources are,
Yeah.
the lead times for those, lead time meaning like the amount of time that it takes to get to customers is very long.
Yeah.
So I recommend people go directly to, like, if there's products that you want to sell in particular, like let's say you wanted to sell, living room furniture, right? So I would recommend you contact the brands that actually sell that either in your market or whatever market it is that you're targeting. Contact those brands directly. Let them know you would like to set up a dropship agreement, and then have them, ship the orders directly to the customers. Because a couple things. Number one, you're going to be authorized to actually sell those products, so you won't have to run into any headaches later down the road. Number two, you're going to have way better quality products in most cases. You're not going to have to be concerned about that.
Yeah.
Number three, you're going to have way better shipping times. In most cases, your products will probably arrive to customers within 3 to 5 business days. And then number four, which is one of the most under talked about concepts in the world of e-commerce, especially with drop shipping, is the fact that when you actually have real agreements and real authorization to sell products like with a supplier, you can actually take your business and sell it to like an investor or private equity company or something of that nature, because it shows that you have like a legitimate business and legitimate brand that you've built.
Yeah.
So if you're drop shipping from like China or, not necessarily China, but like AliExpress directly, so direct from like supplier there to direct to consumer,
Okay.
like that's completely out the window now. Private investors, private equity companies, hedge fund companies, like any of the big brands that are actually spending millions of dollars a year buying other e-com businesses, they are no longer looking at any of those businesses at this point because they're just not viable and they have no long-term sustainability. Versus if you take the time on the front end, build those relationships with the brands, build those relationships with the suppliers, that you can actually have an asset that actually has value
Yeah.
that you can sell for anywhere from like a 20 to 40x multiple on the net profit that your business is producing every single month.
Yeah, exactly. So I think many people who would be listening right now, they might be interested in going into the e-com business of their own, and definitely drop shipping is something which with minimal investment they can start with and with lesser risk. So in junction to that, like I have been into your courses, your online academy. So I'd like to throw some light on your course, which can help people who wants to go into this particular line of business, and how your course can help it to them.
Absolutely. So, my course in particular, again, the name is High Ticket Ecom Secrets, right? So,
Yes.
one of the things I focus on is helping people find, source, and sell products that have a higher price point, right? And my thought process with that came in, 3 years ago when I was just like, man, obviously I could sell like lower price products, like $10 products, or I could sell $1,000 products,
Yeah.
right? Like I just posted like a screenshot today from like I woke up this morning like 9 o'clock and I had
Yeah.
3 orders for like over 3 grand,
See
right?
that. Yes.
So, I'm just like, it's so much easier getting someone to buy something for like $1,000 or not necessarily easier, but the mechanics are the same. So, like, if you look at like what it takes to build an e-com business or like any online business, like selling physical products, you got to do the same thing for both businesses. I mean, you got to build a website, you got to contact suppliers, you got to drive traffic, you got to learn how to optimize your site for conversions. Like all that stuff is the same. So I said, you know what? Why don't I focus on selling products that are a little bit more expensive because the work is the same, right?
Yeah.
So that's one of the things I specialize in is helping people find, source, and sell, products at a higher price point. Now, I will say, like from a strategic standpoint, like on site, there's a little bit things that you're going to do a little bit differently, and it's only because you got to build a little bit more trust and confidence with your customers when they come to your website. But aside from that, everything else is the same. So my course walks you through that literally step by step, holding your hand, how it is that you go out and do market research, how to actually find products to sell online at a higher price point, how to build your website, how to contact suppliers, how to optimize your site for conversions, how to drive really quality traffic to your website, because that's the other important thing. Like, you just don't want like, not all traffic is created equal, right? Like, not every person that comes to your site is actually coming with the intentions on actually looking at what it is that you have to sell. So how do you find that type of traffic? Well, guess what? I'll show you how to do that. So,
Yes, I think the
yep,
people listening now will be super excited. And if you guys want to join the course, I'll be putting the link in the description below. So you can definitely check it out if you really want to learn it from the guru itself. So thanks again for giving the in detailed description of your course, Ernest. As we are running out of time,
absolutely.
yes, as we are running out of time, I just wanted to know what are your plans for 2019 and 20, and in a short, if you can just describe your vision, like what exactly you're trying to achieve, or what is your core vision and the purpose which keeps you driving.
Yeah, so 2019, like 2020, like for me, it's a couple things. So number one is I'm really looking to on the personal brand side of things, like systematize things a lot smoother in terms of like creating content on a more regularly scheduled basis.
Okay.
Like and honestly, it's really to be able to serve more people because like I know a lot of people want to know what it is that I know, right?
Yeah.
and get massive results with doing that. And I got hundreds of thousands of testimonials at this point. But it's just like, how can I continue to serve the marketplace, right? So like 2019 specifically, like I'm going to be buckling down and doing a whole lot more of that. So I can see a whole lot more people across the globe create massive success for themselves. Because at the end of the day, like, one of the things that I've always held on to, and, it was a quote by Zig Ziglar, and it's always been like ingrained with me. And he said, if you can help enough people get what they want in life, you'll always have what you want in life. And so, that's been the core essence of like, while I was able to like succeed in corporate, why I'm starting to really succeed, like, with people that start to enroll in like my coaching programs and, my courses and things of that nature, because I really focus on like helping other people succeed. And, again, at the end of the day, if your intentions are pure and true and like, you're giving really good like content information to people, like, and all they got to do is put in the work, like, that's a really good place to be at, right? And
Yeah.
so that's some of my primary goals for 2019, and also expanding my ecom portfolio. So right now I got 7 high ticket eCom stores. I got 6 POD stores. So really like it's building that solid foundation for 2019. So I can do between like, I want to say my goal is between like 4 to 6 million next year with just my eCom portfolio. So not including anything else, just like my dropshipping stores, is to do 4 to 6. So I can set myself up for that 8-figure year heading into 2020. With the right team, right structure, right people, and just kind of blow that up. Like I've already got all the stores and niches and stuff identified. So it's just a matter of like making sure I got a super solid foundation with the team and structure. And then, expanding that and growing that. And, for me, the biggest why is just like, obviously, being able to serve the marketplace and serve people. But outside of that is like, really being able to, make sure I lay a really solid foundation for like my family and, my kids and, make sure that, I'm putting myself in a position to where I can take care of them and their needs and not have money be the reason why I can or can't do something. Right.
Yeah.
And that's huge for me because like, some people say, oh, money isn't everything, money isn't this, money isn't that. But at the end of the day, everything revolves around how much money you got, right?
Yeah,
Like you can't fill up your gas tank if you don't have money.
exactly.
You can't go to the cashier and be like, hey man, like can you fill the tank up? But I ain't got no money because money isn't everything. Well, the thing is that you just don't want to make it the controlling factor of you as an individual. But at the same time, I want to really be in a position to where I know that, from a support standpoint, that I got the foundation laid, for myself, my family, and my kids, that we can continue to, serve more and more people, whether we're selling physical products, service-based products, digital products, the whole 9 yards, and, taking as many people as possible along the way with
Really. Thanks for sharing your vision, Ernest. So that brings to one of the important question I am sure like everybody would be expecting, when we are gonna see Earnest Epps live in India.
Absolutely. So when are we, man? Like, I know we've been there's been a lot of people that's been hitting me up, to come to India. And I think we're working on, solidifying that. Did we work on some dates for that yet?
Sorry, what?
I said, did we work on dates for India yet?
Yes, it's in pipeline. So whoever is listening, we are actually planning, and it's already the plan and the process have been started. The data is not yet finalized, so definitely once the data is finalized, so Ernest would be definitely the first person who would be the speaker for the event. So we're looking forward to welcome you in India, and you would definitely love. By the way, have you been to India before?
No, I haven't been to India yet. I've been to a lot of different places as some of you guys have followed me. So I've
Yeah.
done Barcelona, Rome, Paris, London, Poland, Vietnam, Hong Kong, Bangkok, Chiang Mai, Thailand, the Philippines, Bali, so we got to get India on the list.
Yeah, so definitely we're gonna love the country and the culture, and we'd definitely love to have you with us live. So we are working hard. So people who are viewing this video can definitely touch base me, because we are planning with a lot many ventures and event management companies to organize this show. So we definitely post the dates and as and when it comes. So I think we are all good. So Ernest, I would like to uh, conclude this particular interview with some great advice which you would like to give it to the audience, like any personal advice apart from anything, or your own core message to the audience. I would like to appreciate.
Yeah, so the biggest thing is like, as you start to get educated, as you start to immerse yourself into, maybe, it might not necessarily be e-commerce in particular, like it might be, something else, but whatever that thing is, I mean, just make sure you really, really hold true and dear to like wanting to achieve that, because there's going to be things that come up, there's going to be circumstances that come your way, and the thing is, you got to remember why you got started. Right. And there's a quote by Jay-Z that I love. He says, well, a lot of people would rather emulate the results instead of emulate the process. And I'm telling you, like, if you focus on the process, whatever that process is for you, if you focus on that process, I'm telling you, you'll be able to get to the prize. And more importantly, you'll be able to own the prize, duplicate the prize, grow the prize, because you understand the process. So engulf yourself in the process, stay persistent and consistent in the process. And I can tell you again, without a shadow of a doubt, that I will be seeing you guys achieve massive, massive success. And I look forward to seeing you guys in India or online or, but yeah, I know you guys are going to kick butt and appreciate you guys joining us.
Thank you, Ernest, for your kind words. And definitely, it is actually very near. Like we are planning it in 2019 to have us in India. So keeping that in mind, so I think we are good to conclude the session. So thank you, Ernest, for taking your time out of your busy schedule again, and we really appreciate to have with us and to learn a lot of things personally from you. And it is a great, immense pleasure to have with us. Thank you again.
Yep. Thanks for having me on. Later, everybody.
Yeah, thank you. So everybody, so we are gonna conclude this one, and I will see you soon in my next interview with some other guests. So till then, goodbye, take care, stay fit, stay well, and be happy.